we go. I've just clicked on the live button. We're going live right now, guys. We're going live. So let's see what's up. Let's see what's up tonight with everyone here. So we're just going live right now. I'm just watching on my other monitor. See when this goes up. All right. Looks like looks like it's happening now. All right, here we go. Here we go. Good evening, guys. How's it all going? Let's see who's in the chat tonight. Let's see who's in here. Going to go down the comments. Let's see. So Daniel Boy says hi. G'day, mate. How's it going? It's been a good week so far. As you guys know, if you've been watching the last installment on the channel, we chased some Brim, and boy, did we hit the mark. Also in the house, we've got Elias Ayub. G'day, mate. How's it all going? Hope you've been well. Let's keep going down. Destroy Boy. It's Christopher. He's here tonight as well. Welcome, mate. Good to see you around as usual. Let's keep going down. So who else have we got here? We got Salty Skates in the house. G'day. Kaja. How's it all going? We've also got Dylan Caruthers. Hope you guys been having a good weekend so far. It's been a rainy week. Rainy week, but I think this weekend it kind of held off for a little while. So hope you guys have been able to get out and go chase some fish. Now's a good time. The weather's starting to cool down. Less crowds, but you know the fish are still biting, as you can see, as you've seen in the last couple of videos. Let's keep going down the list now. James Klein, how you going, mate? James Klein. So guys, check out his channel. He also makes some fishing content. Nick Flitcroft says yo. So g'day, mate. Let's see who else is here. Geez, there's quite a few comments, quite a few people. Srav says sup Shroom. Sup, mate. So hope you guys been well. James Renga Sammy asks best spots in Sydney. Well, actually, the best spots in Sydney depend on the seasons, of course. We might talk a little bit about that in a moment. Josh is also here. Asked this question: what's your favorite plastic for Brim? Well, I can tell you what my favorite color is. Everyone should know right now. So what is it, guys? In 3, 2, 1, watermelon red. That color slays all the fish. But right now, given the conditions, the bloodworm's really producing right now in the slim swims and the grubs. You can't go wrong with either. Depends on, obviously, the depth and the tide. I like a faster swimming plastic when you've got a bit of depth. And if it's a bit shallower, I go for the grub. Alright, let's keep going down here. So we've also got Jim 30. He says hi. Caleb Chan. Honks Van. Mikey D's. And let's keep going here. Michael Jerriman. How's it going, buddy? Always on my Facebook. So guys, yes, I'm Shroom. You guys already know. So subscribe to the channel if this is your first time. You can support the channel with a super chat, becoming a member, join my Instagram. I've got Facebook as well. So yeah, plenty of things to see and do. All right, let's keep going. So what's a good question to start off with, guys? So as you guys know, this week finally hit the holy grail with that 47.5 centimeter Brim. That was in Sydney Harbour at night, land based. I was just really trying to do a tutorial in that video, and wow, I can't believe it. Gosh, unbelievable. My luck. I think I basically, it's akin to just basically going to the counter at time zone, timeout, and just cashing every single docket, every single token, and getting the first prize. That's what I felt like the moment that I came up out of the water. Couldn't believe it. That was on a Z-Man Slim Swims in the bloodworm color. I usually use that, a little bit further upriver, but that night, wow, unbelievable. All right, let's talk about something, guys. So what's something you guys want to know about? Let's talk about some fishing. So let's go through some of these comments here. So Jim 30 says, I just came back from La Pa, no squid. Well, now's the time for some big squid. Late autumn, early winter. The big, the ones with the big wingspan, those aircraft carriers. Those ones, they're around, but I find that when it's raining, you really got to be near the coast, because I haven't really found it to be very productive immediately after rains, especially if you're chasing calamari. The arrows are a different story. You can still find them, but I find like the calamari go quiet for a few days. That could be the reason if you haven't caught any squid tonight. So yeah, there's been a little bit of fresh on the water right on the top. It's probably still flowing out from the system, La Paz. So that's like that's part of the Georgia system. I find the Georgia system generally doesn't fish all that well after rain. In general, sometimes it fires, but I find most of my luck pretty much dissipates when there's been a lot of fresh in the system. But I'd say give it a couple of days, and the squid will be back. William Dobson says, "Come fish Gold Coast." Yeah, I guess one day I would like to go up there. Plenty of things to do up there. Elias Ayub says, "Will you do another sub meet?" Yeah, the answer to that is yes. At some stage, once all this situation clears, I think there's enough interest in that. Got to come up with a plan, of course. Last time I did it at Clifton Gardens at that wharf. I thought that would handle all the people that would turn up, but including all the people that were normally already there, plus all the extra people, it was literally shoulder to shoulder throughout the whole night, even until the time that I left. And I left at about, I think, 9 p.m. and it was still packed, and that was from the early afternoon as well. So that was pretty crazy. I'll need to come up with another idea though. So if you guys have any ideas of where we could go, what we could do, yeah, another sub meet on the cards in the future once all this blows over. Infamous FPV says, "Sup Shroom." Yeah, so another regular on the channel. G'day mate, hope you've been well. Michael Jeremy says watermelon. Yeah, so that would have been an answer to one of my previous questions. Everyone knows that's the color. If you're gonna, if you don't know what you're doing and you want to use a particular lure such as the Slim Swims, you can't go wrong with watermelon red. I like the lure because it's got, that little bit of glitter inside, and I think that's what makes it a little bit special. It's got that little bit of a flicker. It looks a bit like fish scales, and it looks a little bit like blood at the same time. And fish just get turned on when they see red. Little bit of red, little bit of flicking. There's a lot of action inbuilt into those little stretchy plastics with a light jig head. Once the fish has come close and just decides to suck it in, it goes all the way down its gob because it's just so buoyant. It just gets sucked right in there, and then that produces a really good response on your line, and then you just set that hook and bang, right away, right onto a fish. Hopefully an over 40s brim, or whatever you're seeking. Can't go wrong with that color. Jim 30 says, "What's your background?" Born here. My background, I'm Chinese. Kaja says, "Where in the harbour can I get some squid?" Well, if you're fishing at night and you want to get some squid for bait, pretty much any of the harbour wharves will produce from Picnic Point and down. So the further down you go, the more reliable the spot becomes. But even at Picnic Point, that far up river, you're still going to catch squid. In the Georges, people don't chase squid all that far up, but I can definitely tell you that from what I know and from what friends have seen with their own eyes, squid, you get them all the way up, even past Picnic Point. It's unbelievable. Now, I don't know whether the squid up there are arrow, the arrow variety, because they all look the same. So you can definitely pick out a calamari because the wings go all the way down the body to the head. But when it comes to the arrow squid, they kind of stop halfway and they're a bit smaller. And as you go up river, they get a bit smaller as well. So there might be a few varieties of squid that you could catch. But I haven't seen anyone really, flick a squid jig that far up river in the Georges. Flick with Mick Fishing says, "Shroom." G'day, hope you've been well. Yeah, thanks for all the comments on the channel and all that. Guys, he also does fishing content, so yeah, check him out as well. James Klein says, "Thanks, Shroom. I am good. Fished Pier 8 on Saturday for a donut, although I am going with a mate on his boat next Saturday." Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Yeah, good time right now. There's no reason why the Kings aren't still around. With a bit of rain, it's gonna, mix things up. But I actually been thinking about what I'm going to do next. I really do want to go chase some kings. I think some people have been asking for some of those videos, but yeah, we'll see. So far, I've been active at night, just trying to get out while it's still, just less crowds right now, particularly given the situation. You don't want to be in big crowds at this stage. So, most of my videos have been at night at this moment. So that kind of rules out Kingfish as a potential catch. It's more a rarity than anything else, catching it at night. But in the daytime, I'm thinking about transitioning back to some daytime videos very shortly. Hopefully, get you guys something interesting to watch. Hopefully, a king or two. George Fisher says, "Hey Shroom, what's up, bro?" G'day, George. Appreciate all the comments you left on the channel. Very enlightening. I'm learning just as much just reading about those comments, especially about seasonal changes with like everyone knows about, for example, jelly prawns, and then some of those tube worms and all that stuff. That's really interesting because for some reason I felt that night that I needed to use the bloodworm for whatever reason, just looking at the color and just having a few flicks here and there with the motor oil. It didn't produce, but then straight away with a bloodworm, that was when I started getting some action. And if it's good enough to fool a Brim that size, what does it really tell you? It really just means that you've completely put all the pieces together, matched the hatch. It was windy as well, hard to pick a bite, hard to detect any kind of a little flick on the line. But as you guys could see in the video, it's not going to be a slam dunk hit when you catch a 40 plus Brim. All my experiences, especially if you just flick land based, maybe in structure it's a different story. If you cast into a snag, you might get dust right away. But if you just flick an open water, seemingly open water, like on a mud flat, walking the bank, Sydney Harbour or the Georges River, daytime or nighttime, really I found that they really just kind of just, not really like nibble it, but it's just a really faint flick. It's just really faint. And sometimes it's worth striking, and a lot of times it's not. A lot of the times they kind of like follow it in a few times. You get a few little hits, and then that second or third or fourth hit, that's when it's got it, and then that's when you strike. I've noticed all my 40 plus Brim have had that kind of a demeanor attacking that lure, whereas the little ones, they do what I call a pick and run. They just pick it up and they run, and before you know it, your rod, you're holding it, you've just worked the lure, waited a few seconds, and then the rod's getting away from you. Generally, that's that's a smaller fish. I'd say maybe competition amongst the other fish in the area, and so that just incites one to be aggressive and just smash that lure and pick it up and take it away. But yeah, those big wily Brim, really very smart, of course. But yeah, bloodworm, that's the color, guys, right now. And obviously watermelon red, you can't beat that. Young Dean says Riverwood represent. Yeah, that's right. Shrav says, what's your fishing bucket list? Well, I guess it's like everyone's. 50 centimeter yellowfin, meter flathead. Maybe, I don't know, when it comes to Mulloway, maybe let's choose something a little bit more realistic. Maybe a 20 kilogram Mulloway. I think that's achievable. 30 might be achievable too if I put time in, but given that I'm probably going to get a via means of bycatch, I'd say something like 10 kilo would already like be too much of a problem. Let's see. So Dylan Carutha says, have you fished Brisbane waters? I can't remember. I can't really remember. I've been up that way. I fished nearby. I think I got the same question in the last live stream. I think I might have fished nearby, if not having fished there just the one time. William Dobson says, come to the Gold Coast. I think I saw that comment. Have I lost my place in the list? No, that's right. Okay, so Infamous FPV says, Shroom, do you think the bite gets slower during winter? In general, the bite does get slower, but that's because all the small pickers that were, spawned in spring, they're all gone. They're all gone by that time. I don't know what happens exactly. The bite gets slower, but in general, you'll find that you catch a few less fish, but the quality of the fish goes up to counteract that. So a lot of people kind of like switch off catching anything in the winter because they think that it's not worth their time. Oh, that's completely false. I mean, these days, previously when I think winter fishing, I think big brim, no flathead, not really getting too many good flathead. I think Mulloway. I'm not really thinking kingfish either. I'm thinking squid, blackfish, drummer, trevally, salmon. Um, I think Taylor, that kind of goes in and out of flux. I don't really know about that one, but generally it's just slightly different species, and also the sizes, they change drastically. So you're not going to get too many of the small brim, the flathead. You still get them, but yeah, wait till spring. Spring's when you're going to get some nice flathead in spring and summer. But yeah, to answer your question, the bite gets slower, but I'd say the quality of the fish increases at the same rate as the bite gets slower. Noobs Pro asks, do you ever take the fish squid home from Para River or no due to dioxins? I normally don't take fish home just because I just don't. I fish for the fun of it. It's my recreational release. It's a sport that I can see myself doing for a very long time. And, I feel good releasing a fish as well. So I normally don't take the fish, even if the water quality was, good. And you could keep fish west of the Harbour Bridge. So currently they recommend no consumption of fish west. But east of the Harbour Bridge, they have this table and they'll specify how many grams of such and such they think is within the limits so that your body can, consume it and then excrete it, that kind of thing, and just be okay having a small level inside the body. I do keep a few squid though. I find like, at least for squid, there's always a use, whether I consume it or use it as bait. Normally what happens is I keep a few squid, and I've got my fingers crossed that, hey, all right, next session, I'm going to go to a wharf or go somewhere off a headland and just soak a bait and get a king or get a mulloway. But I just find myself just not doing that, even though I keep a few. So, but fantastic bait. That's what I would use it for. I will be making a video of that sort very soon. Destroy Boy says, I got some big squid in the hacking yesterday night. Oh, interesting. Yesterday night, yeah. So hacking, that's like one of the best places to chase calamari. So they must have been calamari if you said that they were big. The rain obviously hasn't put them off in the hacking just yet. So yeah, very interesting. Makes me want to go down there right now. Jim 30 says, yeah, that's good, bro. Chico saying, have you used S Factor? Well, the answer to that is yes. Every couple of videos, I kind of show it on the video. I use it pretty regularly. I find it's effective. I find it's very effective, especially if I'm getting really timid bites and I want them to hold on to it more thoroughly and that fraction bit longer. Just having a taste, even if it's not just the scent, when they grip onto it, that taste, I'm sure they can taste it. And just if it's a good taste, they'll hold on to it, even if it's plastic, of course, even if it's fake. And then that's enough. That's enough sometimes to just get that more solid of a hookup. Yeah, so I definitely use S Factor and quite regularly. Let's keep going down. I think I might have missed a few messages here. All right, guys. Now, while I find out where I've gone up to in the message list, if you guys are new here, I'm Shroom. Subscribe. If you guys are new here, I'm Shroom. Subscribe to the channel. You can support the channel in many ways. Watch my content, like the video. I also have super chat enabled on this channel. You can also become a member if that's your thing. All right. George Fisher asks, hey, do a Parramatta Lake, well, that's not a question, but he says, hey, do a Parramatta Lake freshwater fish meeting. Yeah, yeah, that'd be a good idea. I think, yeah, that was one of my questions earlier, so I need some ideas. I'll definitely, yeah, keep that in mind. Are you for real? New South Wales says, hi, mate, you're doing a great job. Thank you very much. Kaja says, what's a wharf that is good for squid? I think I answered that question. So, it just depends, really. But any of the harbour wharves at night, from Picnic Point down, that are lit, you can catch arrow squid. And if you go further out past near the mouth, near the harbour bridge, then you got a chance of catching calamari as well. But chances are you're after bait. Any of those places, I'd choose a place that's closest to you, and then work it out, because there's nothing better than having a spot 5 minutes down the road and know exactly when and where to cast and how to get your couple of squid and be set for the weekend. Yongdeng asks, have you been fishing off bridge at Riverwood lately? No, not at all. But I'm going to be going back one day, just not at this stage. So it's a narrow place given the situation. I just don't want to be like, walking through too many people and have people walking by. Just playing it safe. Just being really safe right now. Keeping my distance. Rope 8 says, enjoy the videos. Keep it up. Thank you very much. Kaja asks, where is good for kingies? Yeah, that's a very broad question, but if you just want to start off, go to Pier 2, go to Pier 8. Any of the harbour wharves closer to the ocean, they produce. That's where you'd go and soak a squid. Soak a squid bait. If you can get it out live, good. If you can't, catch it and then just put a strip out. James Klein says, apparently squid can resist fresh really, really well, although their natural bait does not go up as far or something like that. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I find like I don't have as much luck when there's a bit of rain or when there's a bit of wind. Wind makes it hard to catch, especially at night. And yeah, I just find rain, I just don't have confidence. Maybe it's just the places I go. But yeah, there are squid that permeate all the way through the system, all the way to the fresh. Like I've read about freshwater squid. So, I don't know how to target things like that, but surely that would suggest that, just depending on the species, they have their preferred salinity and habitat range. But it's not a static thing. They can move back and forth according to the conditions and bait. All right, good day, Adam Sankari. He says hi. The Destroy Boy says, do you have any pets? No, I don't have any pets. James Klein says, are there any other squid species that are other than the common species like calamari, arrow, and cuttlefish? Oh yeah, there's probably like thousands of species because this is not a really complex organism. They probably all look pretty much the same, but to the average person, they're all pretty much the same squid. I'm sure if you just go anywhere else, up or down the river, there's probably a few other species that people just don't chase for whatever reason, whether they're just too small or there's not many of them or the habitats that they live. Yeah, just like pretty much any other species of animal, there's that one that everyone knows about, and then there's like, I don't know, dozens or hundreds or even thousands of other similar species, like ants, for example. Like there's the black ant, but I'm sure there's, I don't know how many species of ants there are, but we only really know about, like red ants, fire ants, the common black ones, and yeah, plenty. But yeah, like I'm no expert in that, so that's just my general answer to that question. Jim 30 says, thanks for answering. That's what I have been wondering. Why this guy not chasing any kingies? Yes, I can't remember what I said there, so I'll keep going. Noobs Pro says, you take any fish home in Parramatta River? I think I've taken, not in the river. No, not in the river. But the Para/Sydney Harbour. I think several years ago I think I kept a king or two out near the heads. That was all right. Had that, tasted it. It was pretty good. But yeah, I haven't kept one since. George Fisher says, no worries, Shroom, you're welcome. Yeah, appreciate it, George. Yeah, keep it up. Appreciate all the comments. Dylan Vlatko says, best spots for squid in the harbour. I think I answered a question just like that. Melob says, hey, Shroom, do you spearfish? No, I don't spearfish. Terry, who's on my channel in some of my videos, he's asked me a few times, am I keen on taking it up? And I said to him, first of all, so do you see many sharks when you do this? And he's like, yeah, but he's a beginner as well, so yeah, I'm not too sure. I might take it up at some stage. It would make interesting content, but for now, yeah, just fishing. But I would be open to the idea if if someone showed me the ropes, like Terry. We learned together. I think he's done it off Cronulla in the hacking, so he told me that he saw some interesting things there. So I was interested to, I was interested from hearing what he said, that what he saw and what he was able to collect and stuff, that I might give it a go one day. All right, are you for real? New South Wales says, guys, try not to take fish from para. Waters are getting worse in the manner of us humans eating from there. Not good. Well, I'll just say, so far, just, I can't make up the judgment on the water quality. I just take the advice from DPI. So until they change, the recommendations on dietary recommended consumption areas, I think it's just better to just follow, people that actually set the rules. Whether they're right or they're wrong, I don't know. Maybe they need to update it. I keep hearing about people saying that these limits and recommendations, they were formed, I don't know how long ago, but not yesterday. Maybe they need to look into it. Maybe the water has improved, but I don't know. Maybe it's gone a lot worse. Yongdeng, have you fished Shipping Northern Lake? Yes. I wouldn't say it's like my second home, but I know that place extremely well. Just haven't really produced any videos from that area yet. So, but that lake, I'd say I used to fish there almost every weekend. Yeah, so a good place to fish. Melob says okay, that's not directed at me. Jin 30 says, big respect for all the mate who do lure fishing, especially Shroom, because honestly, I don't have that high motivation and patience to do it. Well, yeah, there is a slight learning curve. It's not the hardest thing in the world. Anybody could do it. Just watch the videos. Like, literally, I show you from cast to hook up. Like, I don't really see what I'm doing that's particularly unique or special. I just have found a way that that keeps me busy and interested. I like to move the lure quite a lot with a lot of like little hops. It's just something to do with my hands, So some people like slow lifting. Some people like double hopping. When I use little lures for Brim, I like to imagine that I'm making them, inciting them to hit it. And I like to do a lot of little twitches. And I don't think it's that complicated. I think that, Jim, I think you could do it. You just gotta get some watermelon grubs or watermelon slim swims, or any of the other really popular lure brands out there, like Squidgy Wrigglers, Gulp, Crabbies, Gulp, Shrimps, just anything. What else is there? There's so many like brands out there that do work. Noobs Pro says, kudos to you, thank you. Okay, now, looks like I've just lost it again. I don't know why it keeps happening, guys. Slip of the finger, slip of the mouse. I just keep scrolling and suddenly the whole screen just goes down. Yes, let's keep going here. Yong Deng says, I keep fish off the Georges River around Peakhurst Heights, Oatley area. Yeah, I think that's okay. In the Georges River, they recommend that you don't keep fish from the salt pan, and I think further up from Radwell Road boat ramp leading up to Chipping Norton Lake. Yeah, but don't quote me on that. I think that's the general area, and of course, nothing out of the Cooks River. that's a canal and that's loaded with toxins. So besides from those, I think those three areas, besides from those three areas, I think unless there's just trying to think of, are there any areas that you can't actually fish? I think in Woolaware Bay there's an area I think there's a section that you can't fish, and also inside Sylvania waters. So I think anywhere else you can, keep your catch. All right, let's keep going down. George Fisher says, summer you can get big fish at night, and winter you can catch big fish in the daytime because they're hungry and there's less bait around. Yeah, I find these are all generalizations. Winter you get better quality fish, and in summer you get more numbers. But obviously it depends on what you're chasing, and how you're chasing it as well. So I find in general nighttime you're going to get slightly better fish, especially if they're monstrous sizes or really big sizes. Say for example Brim, I can definitely tell you that there's a lot more reports of people catching 40 plus centimeter Brim, or 45 and higher, off wharves, just chasing Jews, for example, getting them on a mullet or a squid strip or prawns, or pilchard cube. I seem to think that happens more likely. That's more likely at night, from what I've seen. Um, I don't know. Maybe there's just fairies during the day, and you just can't actually chase them like that. But yeah, I think that larger fish, it's hard for them to stalk their prey in the daytime. They have to basically restrict all their movement and hunting to the low light periods. For example, that Brim that I caught, that 47 and a half, I can't imagine that Brim just like swimming in clear water in the day trying to hunt something. It's that big of a fish. It's at a disadvantage compared to anything else, any other small Brim. So maybe that time for that fish shine is right at night, which is why I was able to get it at night and not during the day. Not to say I couldn't get it during the day. Maybe during the day it's in a snag, at the nearest, what do you call, marina, behind one of the boat hulls or something. Might get it there. Otherwise, during the day, maybe the first bit in the morning, it's hunting along the shore, and then it's gone. It's gone once that sun's come up. Right back into cover. Tiger Galvin says, any advice on chasing trevally at the moment, and what structure they like to hang around? Love your vids. I haven't come across any trevally at this stage, but this is the season. I believe that they'll be plentiful pretty much off the wharves right now and off the rocks. Like I said, I haven't come across any. I haven't been doing that kind of fishing. They like they like structure. They like hanging off the shore. They like heavy weed. I've noticed every time I've hooked onto a good trevally, it's always picked up it's picked up a ball of like 2 kilograms worth of weed or more every time I've hooked onto a good one on light line. And yeah, you find them in some of the same spots as Brim as well. So marinas, you definitely can get them there. Up the Cooks River, off the breakwalls. Last year I got them off the breakwalls. Well, the groins, the groins along that stretch lit from the mouth of the Cooks to the mouth of the Georges River, along that beach section. All those groins there, plenty there. Um, Generally, I get them when I'm fishing for Brim in the Cooks River. Last year, I did talk to a few people, and they said that they were plentiful in the system. But miraculously, I never came across one. Caught everything else besides trevally. Okay, Destroy Boy says, "Not surprisingly, the biggest was a 20 centimeter tube, and it was an arrow squid." All right, yeah. I guess like I said before, earlier in the night, I said like if you're gonna chase squid and there's been a bit of rain, the arrows do tolerate it that bit more than the calamari. I haven't really had as much luck chasing squid when there's been a bit of fresh in the system. That I'm not saying that that proves anything, but yeah, that'd be my explanation. Milo says, whoever was the one who went fishing for squid in La Perouse, I was just at Bear Island and only got one octopus. Yeah, Yeah, so yeah, that's that seems to be everyone's experiences right now. I guess maybe you need to try in the hacking right now. The hacking's, I guess, you can't really miss the squid in the hacking, especially if you're on a boat. Zach Rocky says squid bit slow at the moment. Squid have been very slow at the moment. Yeah, I mean, throwing this rain, I can see why. I can see why. My personal experiences tells me that bit of rain, spot goes dead. And there's that layer of fresh on the top of the system as well, because the rain stopped, but you know, some of these rivers, they're still fresh coming down from the drains, and it just keeps pushing. Gotta wait for that salinity to build back up. Jim 30. I just went there this afternoon, but okay, yeah, that was more about more squid talk. Melobe says, ha ha ha, me and my friends found a couple today. Was it okay, alright, ooh. Alright, so let's keep going down here. So guys, if you're new here, I'm Shroom. Subscribe to the channel while I go look for the next comment here. I make a lot of fishing content. Hope you're enjoying the show. If you want to support me, obviously you can watch my videos and all that. But if you want to support me in any other way, you can send a super chat. You can join and become a member as well. That's available. All right, let's keep going. What's the next comment here? What's he say? Melob says, bro, you should. It's great fun. I have been maybe 100 plus times and I haven't seen one shark besides wobbegongs. All right, so yeah, that's good. So I don't mind the wobbegong. Just no bull sharks, tiger sharks, hammerheads, bronze whalers, all that stuff. I love you guys know I love shark fishing. Even though there aren't that many videos on my channel chasing sharks, but yeah, it gets the blood pumping. I love chasing them, but no, yeah, not I don't love the thought of them chasing me though. All right, let's keep going down. William Adder says, "Hey guys, hey Shroom, how you going? I love the videos, Shroom. Keep them coming. Yeah, every week, guys. Every Thursday, every Thursday, I come up with a video. I put it up. I edit one. Takes a while to edit, so I like to get a few more videos out every week, but it's just not feasible right now. It's just not feasible. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. I definitely put a lot of time into editing and making it as best as possible a viewing experience. And since you guys like the advice, I've tried to put a few more, things about the thought process that goes into catching a fish. And yeah, I didn't realize it was such a big thing, but you guys seem to love it, so I'm going to continue doing that. Because initially I just produced content just for purely entertainment. Who doesn't like seeing the drag scream? That was my idea of a fishing video. All right, let's see what else is here. Mesa Almighty says, "What is your biggest kingfish, and would you like to fish more deep sea?" The biggest one that I've caught is 92 centimeters, and I caught that in Middle Harbour, in the Middle Harbour system, on a live yakka. So yeah, I can remember that day very clearly. I was with Dave, so you guys will know who he is from my videos. So every video that I have of him, we're either chasing squid or calamari, basically, and then with that we go and chase some kings. Down rigging usually, but that one we were anchored, just anchored in amongst the moorings, and with the yakka set down, probably 3/4 way down to the bottom. I can't remember what the depth was. I think it was about 16 meters. I think it was about 16 meters if I got that correct, and probably about 12 meters down, 10 to 12 meters down. We were there early, so by early I mean it was still dark. The sun hadn't started to rise yet. First light hadn't come. There was no hint of the sun about to rise at that stage, and the tailor was still busting up. So when it's still dark, the tailor are going nuts in the water. You're hearing surface splashes. You're getting cut off. You're losing baits. You're losing hooks. It was that kind of time. And then I think first light was coming in about 10-15 minutes. So I was starting to get to that time. The bite went really quiet. And then at that time, suddenly picked up my yakka, and it just started barreling down. Picked up the reel. I just had like a cheap I'd say a cheap Kmart combo. Cheap Kmart combo with a Sienna 4000. The rod was probably about 4 to 8 kilograms, or 5 to 10. I think it was 4 to 8. It wasn't particularly heavy. Had about 13-pound braid and leader. Just a bit of mono leader. But, really strong knots, as you know. I tie really good knots, good leader, good terminal. And yeah, it just kept barreling down and down. The run wouldn't stop. And by the time I picked it up, I'd lost about, I don't know how many meters of braid off my Sienna. The spool was starting to get hot, and then, your heart kicks in at that stage. Because at the first moment when you hear that drag off, you're like, pick up that rod, get under the arm, tighten that drag, because, I had it on loose drag, tightened it up, got it to fighting drag, and it was peeling line, and line was just flying off. I was using Unitica Shore Game, 30 pound or something. That blue braid was just like flying off the spool. And we're just looking at each other, thinking, "Well, what is this? That's no Taylor. That's no Taylor. All those hits from all those Taylor. That's no Taylor. That's a yellowtail. That's a yellowtail kingfish." And then picked it up from that moment. The second it stopped, and I'm in 16 meters of water, but across the edge towards the middle of the channel, it would drop down to maybe 40 meters. And yeah, started pumping it in. Probably got about a couple of turns before I felt some head, like it just like kick into gear and just go for another big run. Probably took about 15 minutes to bring it in on the Sienna. So finally got it in, and then, when it comes up and it looks massive, like it's not a true hoodlum, but at that time it's like, wow, the sun's coming up, because the fight's just gone past, hooked in the dark, and then first light came, and then plus 10 minutes, 15 minutes after that time, the light's starting to come, and then you can just get a glimpse of that fish on its side. Yeah, and then, that's my memory of that. And yeah, one day maybe I'll catch one that size again. Who knows? I like to actually do some jigging for kings, actually. So I've been working on my jigging technique in this time, just just at home, just getting a rod under the arm and just practicing the jigging technique. Get that down. All right, now I got sidetracked completely there. So, all right, guys. I was just getting a bit carried away. What do you reckon, guys? Is that why they call me Shroom? Nah, that's not the reason why they call me Shroom. All right. Where am I? Where am I here? Let's see. Where am I? Guys, yeah, hope you're enjoying the show. You guys appreciate all the comments. Just keep typing away. Say whatever you want in my videos. I get back to them as quickly as I can. I love all the comments, everything you guys have to say. Appreciate all of it. And if you guys like more live shows, yeah, definitely keep asking for it. Because I feel like I'm putting it off. I'm putting it off quite a bit. Unless you guys really are asking for it, then I kind of think, well, I actually wanted to do it on Friday. And then I was like, nah, I'm a bit lazy. And then Saturday, no, I'm a bit lazy again. And then today I was like, nah, that's it. Like, if I don't do it tonight, who's going to watch on the Monday night? And I'm probably busy with everything else. So that's why I came on tonight. Catch fish, not feels. That's a good name. Have you tried Ghost and Braid, and do you rate? I've tried Ghost and 8 casting. The yellow and the green, the dual color, really smooth, really thin braid. I've used that in the 14 pound. So the 14 pound is the equivalent of their 0.6 PE braid. So when I go chase Brim using a 2 to 4 kilogram rod, I'm using 0.6 PE. It's just the right thickness and strength for me. It's like my favorite braid. I gotta say, Ghost and 8 casting is probably my favorite at this stage. Great braid. I don't know if you're talking about that kind of braid, but if you're talking about the Ghost and 8 casting, love that. Probably my favorite. Flick with Mick Fishing says Shroom awesome. Brim brother, that was insane. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever break that again, guys. I don't think I'll ever break 47.5 in Sydney like that. Maybe if I get put on the spot on a boat and there's like divers underneath the the fish market, and they've put like a cage and they've like rounded up like 6 50 centimeter brim, and they asked me to put my lure in there. That'd be the only time I'd do that. But otherwise, I don't think so. Now, George Fisher did say that there was an area in the city outside Harry Cafe de Wheels, basically. You guys will know where that is. If you guys know where that is, you'll know the area I'm talking about. Along that wharf, apparently there are 60 centimeter brim, but I don't know if you can fish there, but that might be another place where if we can get some divers to round up some fish for me, then I might be able to break that. Otherwise, maybe I'd have to book a trip down to Tasmania or something and catch a 50 centimeter black brim. That's probably achievable, although not easy. I mean, you can't just go there one trip and expect to do that. Maybe if you go there on one trip, you might get a nice mid 40s or a low 40s, but I mean, I'm sure it's not easy to get anywhere in Australia. Got to put in the time. Got to know your craft extremely well. Got to match the hatch, have the gear, have luck, have knowledge of the area, just everything really. Not easy. I mean, if you think about it, it's the most prominent species in Australia, brim. You catch it anywhere. But how often do you see a 50 centimeter brim? Not often. It's crazy. Maybe if you go back decades, many decades ago, different story. But otherwise, yeah, I think you'd need a huge slice of luck to break a 50 these days. James Klein says, pretty sure I saw a massive bronze whaler or dusky shark go for a large fish out wide near Blues Point yesterday. Wow. Shame you didn't go fully air. Whoa, went airborne. That's insane. That's I wouldn't like to be on a boat if I saw that happening. Interesting. I've seen sharks in the Georges River at night. When you fish at night, sometimes you see just a lot of waves, and you might see a big fin, and then it just dips in the water, and it goes quiet. You know it's a shark. Milov says, I went fishing in Botany Bay with my friends on his boat a couple of weeks back, and all we caught was one flatty and two tailor, and we were out there for around 8 hours. Yeah, I guess that's fishing sometimes. It can be quiet. So Botany Bay, yeah, I haven't been out on the bay lately, so I don't know how it's fishing. But I'll assume that maybe you're in all the regularly visited areas such as Molly Point and Bear Island and all that such. I don't know if you noticed if anyone else was catching. Maybe it was just a day. Sometimes some days on the harbour. Some days in the bay it's just quiet, just like anything, just like any other place, any other style of fishing. Yeah, it has its days. Flick with Mick Fishing says, when can I give you a hug? I can give you an e-hug right now. G. Antona says, what is your favorite lure for fishing for brim and flathead? All right, guys. 3, 2, 1. Z-Man Slim Swims in motor oil red. For flathead, I guess for flathead you got a bit more choice. I like to use the squidgy fish. I'd say in any. Oh, actually no. I take that back. I like using. Now this is like Terry's favorite. The Gold 5-inch jerk shad in nuclear chicken. You can't beat it. If you can't catch a flathead on that, there's something wrong with the world. You'll definitely catch flathead no matter what you're doing, whatever technique you've got. That's by far the best flathead lure that I've come across. I've also had luck catching big flathead on squidgy fish in 80 millimeter sized squidgy fish in the silver fox color. So that's like the mullet color. I've caught what was it? I probably caught 3 really big flathead on that color from the Georges River, a 90, a 92, and a couple in the 80s on just that. And yeah, I can't fault them. If you can get ones which don't have bent tails, yeah, I believe in that. I believe in that power. I believe in the flathead drawing power of that lure. Yongdang says, I've kept a flatty at the mouth of Saltpan Creek, where Henry Lawson's is connecting Padstow Heights and Peakhurst. Yeah, I'm just gonna say that obviously fish swim around, so just avoid keeping too many fish in certain polluted areas. But you're not gonna die if you consume one fish. Okay, so it's a cumulative effect. Now, this is not dietary advice coming from me at all. There's no scientifically backed evidence here about anything. I'm just saying, yeah. So if you consumed one from a dodgy area, yeah, just leave it at that. It's not gonna kill you, but you don't want to keep doing it. Jim 30. Okay, that's directed at someone else. Kid Fishos. Yeah, g'day Kid Fisho, welcome. Would you say Brim would be finicky for a 3.5 inch in the creek? Yeah, I'd say Brim don't like big lures in general. If you go for a 3.5 inch grub, I found that I haven't had that much luck. You get them as bycatch, so very rarely and uncommonly. They seem to be scared. Yeah, the Brim seem to. So you have the way I see Brim is they kind of behave like they're really timid and scared. That's the best way to describe them. They're scared of everything. If you work the lure a little bit too high, they're scared of that. They're not going to hit it. If you work it a bit too fast, they're going to shy away from it. They're going to just flee. They're just going to run. What they do like is when a lure looks like it's moving as quickly as it can, and it's not moving quick, but it's under the impression that it's moving as fast as it can. In other words, struggling. Then they seem to get really interested and they'll follow it, they'll nip it, and they'll do all kinds of things to it. For example, the difference between, say, if this was my rod and I hopped it like that, that might be okay. But if I just like do it twice, twice the lifts with the distance imparted, suddenly I've pretty much like reduced my effectiveness by 90%. They seem to be scared about anything that goes too high or too quickly, in my opinion. So I don't know, but that's why I do a lot of little twitches. You see, it looks like it's moving quickly. It's trying to get away as quickly as it can. But ultimately, once I stop flicking it, it's not very high up in the water column. It didn't get anywhere. It didn't go anywhere. The fish is going to come in and have a closer look. All right. Enter the Dragon says, Shroom, I went to Bluecombe Farm. Great spot for brims, but there's, yeah, okay. All right. So, I don't know how many people know about that spot, but everyone knows it's a gay hangout. So obviously take care if you're there in the area. If you're getting strange looks from men in really tight shorts, just think back to this live stream that Shroom told you so. So keep away, yeah. So especially if you're like under 18, I'd stay away. If you're a full-grown adult, you probably have nothing to worry about. You know how to look after yourself, and if you know about the risks and you're willing to take it, like I'm okay fishing that area, but obviously you got to be careful. You got to know it well. I've been fishing it for, I'd say, close to 10 years, so I know the area. Yeah, I know the risks. It's a risk. Yeah, every time you get out of that car, you're taking a risk there. But obviously, if you're going to go there, maybe go with a mate. That might be the safest. Or just fish out the front. Don't go too far in, because you never know what happens in a really bushy area. If you go behind a tree, outside of shouting distance, then yeah, so that's no good. They're probably not going to do anything to you, but like it plays on everyone's minds. All right, Milo B says, well, gotta go now. Bye, Shroom. Have a great rest of your night. Thank you very much. Hope you have a good one. Okay, whoa, I lost my place in the... Jeez, it's happened quite often. I keep losing my place Ah, there we go. I got it back. JL says, really appreciate really appreciate the tips during the last video. What's the best tide time of day on the para? And how do you avoid those infinite snags? All right, so let's all agree that there are infinite snags in the river. Best time, best tide, if you're land based, best tide is generally the high tide. Because it brings the fish to your feet. The fish come in with the incoming tide. The tide goes over the flats. The flats are where you're going to find crabs, worms, and anything else they might be hunting. The jelly prawns and the small bait fish, they all hang around the shore as well. They're just moving with the level of the water. So when the tide's out, they're forced out, and when the tide's in, they're forced in. And if you're over mangroves, they're forced into the roots. If it's not, it's just forced against the edge, the bank. Whether it's a man-made bank or it's just like on a muddy bank that you can stand on. So in general, if you don't know what you're doing, go there on a high, have a go. But if you really want to learn the area and you really want to expand your repertoire, you should really learn how to fish low tide. You'll see a lot of my videos, tide doesn't matter. I just go there and I make it happen, because if you fish it enough at the poor tides, you might work something out. And everyone fishes the high tide as well. So I'd say Saturday morning high tide, everyone's out at those popular spots. But on a low tide, who's out? Not too many people. So if you can learn low tide as well, that'd be fantastic. That'll increase your chances of getting fish that other people can't reach. But yeah, just in general, best tide is the high tide. The bigger and stronger it's flowing, the better it is on the change. And time of day, morning is the best. Second, followed by sunset time. And the worst time would probably be midday, when there's a lot of boat traffic and a lot of people. Also, in the middle of the day, it generally means that it's already been fished in the morning. When you fish a spot, you got to give it a bit of time before it can reset, generally. So if it's just been fished an hour before, it's probably not going to be fishing well by noon. And no one's generally fishing at noon, so by the time the sun sets, it's back in action. That spot's, it's open season once again. So yeah, high tide and low light conditions. Night, I've been doing a lot of night sessions, and a lot of people don't. I can understand night fishing alone at night it's not great. You probably want to fish with a mate, and daytime is probably when you want to be fishing anyway. Eliza Hutchinson says, on the Mrs. account, sup Shroom. Oh, g'day. So I wonder who this is. I thought I had my first female viewer on the live stream. Like anyone that's got a YouTube channel, if you look through the analytics, it's like 99.9999999% male. But that's because I think when you make your account, it's automatically assumed that you're male, basically. But you got to change it, I think. I don't know, but yeah, getting female viewers is very rare. So I thought I had a female viewer just a second ago. But g'day. Let me know who you are. Mesa Almighty says, are you looking forward to deep sea fishing? Yes, if I go deep sea fishing, I'd like to do jigging. Jigging for kings. That's what I want to do. I want to get, I want to get stretched. I want to get these arms longer than they should be. Who doesn't like that? Who doesn't like to get railed by a hoodlum? Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to if I go deep sea fishing. Deep sea bottom bashing, that's okay too. I'll do that. Fishing's fishing. I'm not gonna complain if I just have to sit there and bobble like a paternoster on the bottom. I'll do that too. OG Gamer says, Shroom, I know a lot of your Georges River spots. Well, it's a Georges River. Everyone knows it. And same for the Parramatta River. I actually make the video so that most of the time people can recognize the spots. But I don't name them because it's just, not good if I just name someone else's spot. Friends won't fish with me or people won't fish with me if you just keep revealing everyone's spot. But if you make a video, they understand that, all right, it's going to be out in the spotlight, but if you're reasonable about it and you don't go telling every single person and let them work it out, then that's more, that's more acceptable, if you understand. That's the reason why I can't really respond to too many messages about spots in that way, about, oh, what spot is this, what spot is that. There's enough evidence there in the video to work it out. If someone wanted to really find out, they could easily find out. But personally, I can't personally just say it myself. Then people won't fish with me. So, friends won't fish with you if all you do is just reveal all their spots. Eliza Hutchinson says favorite squid jig. Currently it's the Daiwa Emeraldus in the green and yellow. I did catch a nice squid on that not too long ago, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a video out of that one. But that's my current favorite jig. But my favorite jigs throughout the last couple of years, or last year at least, would be just the basic Yamashita Igi Suda R jigs in the pilchard color, which is that blue silver color, and the brown white one. I think I don't know why I remember the code. NIB, that's the code for the brown one, and I can't remember the blue one. But you guys will know what I'm talking about. It's just blue on the top, and it's got a white underbelly, and it's just a basic Yamashita Igi Suda R's. If that's how you say it. Could be Sut R or whatever. But yeah, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. SUTTE. Jim 30 is Shroom for a mushroom. It's basically a play on my surname. So my surname sounds like fungus, so I called myself Shroom. And I used to also play a bit of Mario Kart, and that's like a racing car game, and I called myself that green mushroom because you always, if you play Mario, you always chase that green mushroom and it falls down into a gap and you follow it with it and you perish while you collect it, cancelling out your lost life. So in a racing car game, if someone's always following you, then calling yourself the one-up shroom makes sense. I don't know, that's what I thought. So I thought that was one of the names that I used back then. So I just call myself Shroom these days. Flavor Esali, any tips for lure fishing for beginners? I'd say, okay, so just real quickly and real briefly, you get a 7-foot rod, 1 piece or 2 piece doesn't matter. So 7-foot rod in the 1 to 3 kilogram or 2 to 4 kilogram. So that's the first thing. Number 2, 6-pound braid and a 6-pound leader. Unless you're using Japanese braid, then look for the thickness instead, which is 0.6 PE, which is equivalent to that. Because these days, no braid breaks at 6 pound. If they say 6 pound, they're breaking it at about 12. So people that say that they're using 6 pound, it's not really 6 pound. It breaks well over. But if you choose the Japanese braids, they're rated higher than some of the other brands, which say 6 pound, but they pretty much break at the same rating. So it's all on thickness. Number 3, 6-pound leader. Number 4, Z-Man grubs or Z-Man slim swims. Actually, maybe gulp would be the easiest way to get into lure fishing, like a gulp grub on a 1/16 ounce jig head, and learn how to do slow lifts with your rod. So after you've cast it, wind in the slack with the rod pointed pretty much parallel, and then just lift it 45 degrees. Once that's done, you wind back down to your initial starting position, count to 5, and repeat. That'd be the most beginner advice that I can give in starting out lure fishing, as quickly as I can in about a minute. Okay, but I think maybe one day I'll make a video on that. I think some people have been asking about that kind of stuff. I'll make a video at some stage. Tiger Galvin says, have you ever fished Gold Coast? No, so I haven't fished Gold Coast. One day. OG Gamer, the other day I fought 90 whiting. Alright, that's a cricket score of whiting at Bother Bay. Is that good? Okay, now, just like everyone else, I want to know where this Bother Bay is. Let's just go look it up. Bother Bay. Bother Bay. So, says you can't find. Okay, so I can't find Bother Bay, but 90 whiting. I commend you on your efforts. That's a cricket score. Hopefully you didn't keep all 90 whiting, but yeah, that's a session and a half. Um, is that good? Okay, well, that might be a troll question. Yeah, of course that's good. 90 whiting, unless there were 90 whiting fry. Then yeah, that's good. 90 fish on lures or bait or whatever way, unless you've netted it or something. Flavor is Sali says, is there any good spots in Georges River that you can share? Look, the whole river's good. It's just when you can fish it, what you're fishing for. That's all I can say. Spots that I thought were bad, like some of the spots in my videos, people would consider them horrible spots. But, because I fish it often, I've been able to work it out. But that would be the same if I fished another section of the river and then I work that section out. So all spots are good, guys. All spots are good. Just got to know what you can chase there and how to chase it and what time is the best time to fish that spot. OG Game says the other day I caught 90 whiting at Botany. Okay, maybe you meant Botany Bay. Well, good stuff. Well done. Luke Farm says, how do you use lures and squid jigs and how do you know when I've been trying for a while and I don't if I caught seaweed or a squid, LOL, and I don't know when fish eat the lures. Cheers. So how do you use lures and squid? All right, so I'm just gonna say that you were listening just then when I said how do you use lures. Now for squid jigs, I like to do the aggressive Japanese style whipping. So with the rod tip, I go bang, 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 but I wind down as I bring the rod tip down. I don't know how much of that I'm able to get across in the live stream, but just watch the videos. You'll understand what I do because 99% of the time, that's what I like to do. It keeps my hands busy, and I like setting that hook with an aggressive retrieve. It just feels good when it just sinks into some calamari flesh, right? Everyone knows that feeling. When you just start working it and suddenly those prongs find something solid and you know it's a squid and it starts fighting back and pulsing, that's the best feeling when it comes to chasing squid. But yeah, I do a 3, 4, I think I do about a 3 or 4 aggressive whipping technique, like the ones they do in the Japanese Iggy videos. Let's see, what else? What part of this question have I not addressed? How do you know when I have been trying for? I know, of course. Okay, well, seaweed don't fight back. That's the first thing. Seaweed also seems to be on the top often. If you hook it down deep and you feel weight, chances are it's a squid or some other kind of cephalopod like a cuttle or an octopus. For lure fishing, it's more about developing your sense of bite recognition. So each, I know it's actually a very complicated thing until you, once you understand what it feels like, you can really get into depth into talking about with people that use lures what it feels like when you get a hit or when you should strike or when you should not. So that's normally a question that I get. When should you strike? I think it's something that you have to learn just by fishing a lot and understanding the differences in how much you wind in that lure, how much slack you've got, what a bite feels like. And also, it depends on the gear you're running as well. I remember when I first switched to my Daiwa Battler, the Beowulf. That's an AGS rod, right? So the AGS rods have the carbon guides, and that was different to like the other rods that I'd been using up until that point. And the feeling of a bite transmitting through the guides was so alien to me that I just would not strike when I felt that hit. I had to consciously think about it before I struck. So yeah, it's actually very complicated in understanding when to strike on a fish. I find the easiest way, well, if you're just starting off, strike at everything. If you feel something, you've probably felt a really big hit when you're starting off. You can't feel that subtle bite. What you think is subtle is probably like an electricity flowing through the line from someone else that's fished a long time. and that's probably like the fish has actually ate that lure and is chewing on it. No, not chewing on it, but you know what I mean. It's just like if you're a beginner, you're not gonna know. You're gonna feel a little bite when it's already like well and truly taken the lure and started to move off. So when you start off, strike at everything. Once you understand what it feels like, to understand what the nuances of getting a hit feels like, then I find like if you got slackline and you feel a faint touch, that's a swallow. But if you're on tight line and you feel the same flick, then it's just a tail nip. See, so that's generally, I know that's a big generalization, but that's how I fish. You will notice that I don't strike at every hit in the video. Sometimes you just know it. So if it's on slackline, you feel something, one little hit, not many little hits, one little hit, and you have slackline, that's when the fish has absolutely engulfed it. You need to strike hard, then right then and there, because if you don't, then that fish is gone. If you get a little hit on tight line, such as when you're winding a plastic, then I don't really consider that worth striking. I might just like play dead with the lure and just like jiggle it along the bottom, not making it move off the sea floor, if you know what I mean. Like try to make it so that the fish thinks that it hit the lure, it's completely incapacitated it, and it's on the bottom, and I can't get back up to where it was before. When it was working through the water column, 30 centimeters off the bottom, now it's like struggling along the floor, you know, just little twitches. Sometimes they just pick it up and they run. That's what you want. So if you've done it right, so a fish hits it, you do a little jerk. Oh, it didn't set the hook. All right, it's not its mouth. Let it fall down, let it fall down, let it fall down. Wait a few seconds. Just jiggle it along the bottom. Just wiggle it. Maybe it might come back and pick it up, thinking that it actually injured your lure, injured the bait. And then it's just coming up to, you know, pick it up, and it's still alive off the bottom. Like that, just like that. All right, that was a big question. I probably OG Gamer Shroom, where is your favorite spot for lures? I like fishing Sydney Harbour because there's a lot more real estate. There's a lot more places to walk. Every spot is pretty much public. There's no areas that, well, I guess like there are areas that you can't get to, but a lot of the shoreline is accessible, and I like that. Oh, James, how's it going? James is here, guys. That's James. You probably don't know who he is, but he's one of my friends, one of my real life close friends. He's been in some of my videos as well. He's been in the Weeper video. So when we went up one of the creeks, he's in one of those videos. He's won a few rounds in some of the Brim tournaments as well. So he knows exactly what he's talking about. If that's James, Pete can teach me to catch a 40. No, I can't, mate. I wish I could. There's nothing that I can impart to you. So thanks for popping by, James. Catch fish, not feels. Get into kayak fishing would be great content. Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever get a kayak. Maybe one day. George Fisher says, Shroom, can you do a shore-based fish jigging with metal lures episode in a safe deep water spot in the future? Hang on, there's a few things that don't make sense there. So shore-based fish jigging with metal lures episode. Okay, so but how would you do that in a deep? Oh, okay, I get you. Okay, so I'm getting confused here. I was thinking for I was completely confused there. All right, yeah, maybe I will do that. Yeah, one day I'll get an 8-foot, 9-foot rod, and I'll do something like that sometime in the future. Kid Fisher says got a 42 centimeter. Okay, whoa, what's this? Okay, let me just deal with this, guys. So we got some spam, is it? Let's put this. All right, so that's done. Okay, let's get back up here. All right, guys, hope you're enjoying the show. I'm Shroom. Subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, you can support me by watching my videos. You can also, send a super chat or become a member. I also have Instagram. You can add me on that, and Facebook as well. While I go find back where I was. Kid Fisher says, got a 42 centimeter brim in the creek on a 2.5 inch grub in midnight the other week. Wow, that's fantastic. That's you know, besides from that one that I caught in the last video, I haven't caught any on lures at 42. So they're not easy to get. So well done. Congrats. I know, I'm pretty sure you're over the moon having caught that one, because I would be. Michael Jeremy says, hey Shroom, you ever try using blades? Yes. Yeah, in the winter I use blades pretty much about now. I haven't used them yet. I like to use blades with stinger hooks, and I find that the stingers pick up a lot of whiting and brim in the winter. So yeah, maybe I'll make a video on that at some stage. Enter the Dragon says, Shroom, let's do a, yeah, oh, well, okay, no. Let's not do a meet and greet at Blue Gum Farm. George Fisher says, yeah, blades are really good for a lot of fish, even blackfish in winter in a red color. Yeah, I haven't actually caught blackfish on a blade. I've caught a lot of blackfish on a really small dark hard body though. I have done that, so it's weird. I don't know why they hit hard bodies, but they do. Like the diving ones, you know, those chubby ones. I've caught a few on them. James Klein says, I read an article a while back about fish species moving up the Hawkesbury. It said Jew have been caught at Windsor and even flatty around Yarramundi near Richmond. What are your thoughts on this? I don't know that area too well, but it sounds like this is right near the fresh if it's near Richmond. Um, I mean, I have heard of Flathead being in the fresh, and I wouldn't think Jews would go that far up, but I have heard that people have caught Jews and bass in the same snag. So yeah, they probably do go up that far. I don't know how common it is. I don't know how likely it is for someone to catch one there. You know, it's probably just a lower probability, but they probably do go up that far. What's a Cook says, hello Shroom. So hi, how's it going? What's your favorite brim lure? Z-Man Slim swims in watermelon red right now. Currently, that's my favorite. And having caught that brim in the last video, I would say bloodworms moved right up there next to it. Quality, you know, a quality fish proves that, you know, that the color is the right one as well. So must be a great color, right? If it catches quality fish. Khalid Fellow says, hey, so hi, how's it going? OG says, I did keep all 90 whiting. Okay, that's hopefully you have a big family and that you're with a lot of people. What to cook? Okay, no, that's not me. Matt C says, I'm new to using a boat. Is it easy to use and catch squid in botany? Look, I'm not. I wouldn't really say I'm a boat fisher. I don't really know the ins and outs of it. I don't know if it's easy to use. I don't like it when there's like cross waves at the ramp. Kind of gets me anxious. But yeah, squid in botany. I'm sure you'd be able to find weed, right? There's weed everywhere. Just look for weed and start casting. It doesn't need to be a specific spot. You're seeing some of my videos. I catch them chasing flathead and on the gulps. You know those 5-inch gulp jerk sheds that I mentioned earlier, being probably one of the best flathead lures. They catch plenty of squid. In fact, I was going to make a video where I was going to modify a squid jig, not a squid jig, yeah, modify a squid jig with a gulp and just use the prong and see if I can catch squid using that, because I do think I could outfish a squid jig using gulp at this stage. But I'll have to figure out how to make it like done properly, so then you guys can make your own modified gulp slash Yamashita monstrosity that just slays the squid. Okay. Alright, I won't read that comment. Yeah, that was a funny one, Michael. Probably Ryan Dixon says, Shroom, where are some good spots in the Port Hacking? The whole river's good. I can't really point out any specific area on direct traffic. Hope you understand. Smoothful says, I caught some really big brim. Alright, now there's a bunch of... Is that a bit of... No, it's not. Okay. Kingfisher says, please moderate Razor. Yeah, I got rid of that guy. I might get some mods at some stage. Hasn't been a problem yet, but if this keeps going on, Luke Farm says, thanks for answering, Shroom. Much appreciated. Yeah, thank you for, hanging in to this, for watching the stream. All right, guys. How long have we been going for? Okay, 1:19. Okay, we'll go for another 5-10 minutes. How's that going? How's that sound, guys? How's that sound? Another 10 minutes, and then we'll call it a night. So if you guys got any more questions, please put them down. I'll try to get to all of them. Where am I up to now? All right, there I am. Okay, so Khaled Falau says, Shroom, can you tell me what you head to use in 5 meter water for Brim because a 1/8 never hit the bottom? 5 meters of water, a 1/8 ounce will hit the bottom. A 1/8 ounce jig head will hit the bottom, but you probably mean 5 meters of water where the current's flying. In that case, it may not hit the water in the strike zone. It might be like flying too quickly for it to do anything. You can't really sit a lure on the bottom if it's pushing really hard. Outside of the tides, like the tide changes. Like, is there a reason why you're fishing? I mean, 5 meters doesn't sound. I mean, it's deep if you're fishing off the bank. On a boat, that's not deep, but off the bank, 5 meters, accessing 5 meters with a small lure is rather deep. You catch most of your brim within 1 to 3 meters of water. I would say, yeah, 1/8 would hit the bottom. Maybe angle it, cast diagonally so that by the time you hit the bottom, you get a few hops before it is parallel to you off the bank. That would be how I would fish that kind of water if I was still using a plastic in 5 meters. I wouldn't go higher than 1/8. I find if you go higher than that, it's hard to. I mean, it's hard to expect to catch brim at that stage. I mean, you're probably looking for flathead if you're using anything heavier than that. There's not enough sink time. It's flying too quickly. You're just getting it to the bottom like a rock. And the second the brim hits the lure and picks it up, it feels too heavy. It's going to drop it. The lighter the lure is, the more likely it's going to hold on to it. Because visually, if it doesn't look heavy but it feels like a brick, it's going to drop it. It's not going to hold on to it for long. G. Antonis says, what is your favorite color for squidding? It depends on the conditions. If I'm just choosing one color for the day, I'll go natural. But if I get to chop and change, I like starting off with pink, something bright, early up, something with a rattle. These days, a lot of the premium jigs have rattles. I like using glow ones as well. Something that's really visual, strikes, comes out visually and audibly right from the get-go. Get the first easy or two in the area. And then once the bite gets tough, start, going down, chopping and changing from more vibrant and outstanding colors to more subtle and natural colors. So yeah, I guess for squidding, it's hard to say whether there's one specific favorite color in terms of the jig. For brim fishing, I can definitely tell you. So watermelon red, if you're downriver, and if you go upriver, maybe stick to the brown, stick to the bloodworm. You can't go wrong with naturals most of the time. It's just that some colors will outperform it when they're on the job. When fish are on the job, color doesn't matter as much. When they're not on the job and they need some tempting, yeah, you got to go natural. All right, so I've got about six minutes left. Shrooms, I need some good spots in the hacking. Love to help you, but I don't really know too many good spots without directing too much traffic to it. Oh, what's all this? More people. Let me just get rid of that. All right, okay. Now I've just come back up here, looking for the comment now. All right, so I dealt with that guy there. He's gone. Okay, so What to Cook says eels are delicious. Okay, yeah. I went to Japan once. Had eel. I think they call it unagi. I might have got it wrong, but I think that's what it's called. And yeah, fantastic. I had to order it twice, so I did like it there. I don't know if it's probably not the same kind of eel, and I never got to see the eel. So if I saw the eel before and then after, maybe I wouldn't be hungry. But I didn't get to see it. I just ordered off a menu. George Fisher says, sorry, I meant short jigging like they do in Japan. Yes, I mean, I want to do that. Yeah, I'll definitely want to do that at some stage. Miles Lever, you go for Kingfish much? Sometimes. Sometimes I go for Kingfish. On a boat, generally I'm going for Kingfish. Off land, it's more a chance encounter. Because I don't really go sit at a wharf and just soak a bait. Although there's nothing wrong with that. I do enjoy doing that too. Luca Musu Messi says, "What is the best soft plastic for Dewey?" I like the 80 mil squidgy fish in Silver Fox, followed by the same lure in the black and gold. Between those two colors, they've caught most of my Jews in the daytime, land based on soft plastic on a 3 to 6 kilogram rod. That's my favorite. Amir Jabari says, "Hey mate, have you caught a Jewfish?" I'm not too sure. It's just my profile picture. And if you have, what is your biggest one? The one in the profile picture is 95 centimeters. George Fisher says, "Hi, kid." Okay, yeah. What's this? Janie CS. What to cook? Top 5 mysteries. All right. What's all that? Okay, so I'm just gonna hop over some of those questions. So we've got 4 minutes left, guys. 4 minutes left. Michael Jerriman asks, "Have you tried Haslam's Creek?" Yes. This is that spot I was referring to that other day. Okay, I can't remember the question now, but I have tried Haslam's Creek. You're not supposed to fish it. That's all I'm going to say there. It's polluted, and just like any other polluted place, it holds fish because it just does. The more polluted the place is, the crazier the fishing is. Noob Pro, have you fished at Hawkesbury River land base? No, I've only done it on a boat. And when I was there on a boat, I was just soaking bait and caught a few soapies, caught flathead, flounder, and some brim. Shane the Voodoo Guru, top 5 mystery. Oh, okay, wait, hang on. That's not to do with me. I don't know what's going on. There's like a second conversation going along here, guys. What's it called? Shroom, please. Press Alt. Okay, whoa. All right, so there's some trolls here. George Fisher, go to Lily Pilly, good spot in the hacking. Yeah, I mean, I want to go there one morning, maybe get a squid, and hopefully some passing kings or bus stops of any sort. Yeah, good spot, but it's very small wharf, so there's always people there. Master influence, can you catch rats in catch rats, rat kings in Sydney Harbour? Yeah, when they come by, I'll throw a Z-Man grubs in front of it, and it will hook up. Hopefully, it will hook up. Shane the Voodoo Guru says sells. Okay, wait, what's this going on here? All right, yeah. So 3 more minutes, guys. So the conversation's starting to deteriorate here, but hope you guys are enjoying the show. This is not a top 5 mysteries channel. This is a fishing channel. So if you guys like that, subscribe, support me, watch my videos. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, support the channel with the super chat. I've also got the YouTube's enabled membership, all sorts of stuff. Last couple of minutes, guys. Last stretch here, and yeah, thanks for joining, everyone. Last bit here. What's your favorite fishing spot on Sydney Harbour? The whole river. So I like the whole river. Okay, let's keep going. What's this? Jeez, what's all these comments? Okay, Sam. Hey, Shroom, what braid pound and leader pound do you use? I use currently I'm spooled with Sunline Castaway, 10 pound. I think it's 10 pounds, 0.6 PE. So I look for the PE. So 0.6 PE just translates to 10 pound for that particular type of braid from the brand Sunline. So it's IGFA, which means it's gonna break right on 10 as well. So there's stronger braids out there, but it's a very reliable braid and ties a strong knot. And for leader, I'm using FC Rock in 6 pound, 90% of the time on my 2 to 4 kilogram gear. I was using 5 pound at a stage though in some of the videos about maybe 3 months ago, but generally it's 6 pound. All right, last couple of questions, guys. Let's see what's a good question here. Let's see. Let's answer 2 more questions. Let's see. So let's find two more good questions. Khaled Falau says, how do you fish for kings on land-based? Use a heavy rod, catch fresh squid, strip it up, make a strip of fresh squid from the hood about maybe 1 centimeter to 1.5 centimeter wide, and as long as you want, really, but maybe 5 to 7 centimeters, just a small sort of toss it out on a strong 5/0 hook. And yeah, just wait. Really, that's it. I mean, obviously you can get a better rig than that and do a better job, put live squid out or live yak or whatever, but you can't go wrong with a squid strip, especially if you're fishing prime time, early morning, first light for kings somewhere. That's what I'll do. Okay, one more question. Let's see, what's the last question here? All right, so okay, let's not divide the. I was going to answer the brand and mode of reel, but is that going to divide up the viewer base here into a Shimano versus Daiwa? All right, I'll tell you my favorite reel from both brands. Okay, no, hang on, no, that's not gonna work. Okay, one more question, guys. Let's see. Let's go find another question. All right, Gerald E's got a good question here. Gerald E, have you tried fishing at Chipping Norton for Jew? And the answer is yes. And I've caught Jew. Let's just say that I've caught enough Jew that I don't know how many I've caught there. So if you want to go, give it a go. Chipping Norton Lake. There's better places, but nothing wrong with Chipping Norton Lake. Yeah, give it a go. All right, guys. How was that? Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Yeah. Thanks for watching, of course. I make fishing content. I'm Shroom. If you don't know who I am, subscribe to the channel, like the video, watch all my other content. Yeah, let me know if you guys like more live streams. I'll continue to do them. Like I said, I keep putting it off. I'll do it more regularly, but like I said, like everyone gets a bit lazy. Doing live videos. But if you guys want it, let me know, and that just gives me more motivation to do it. If you want to support the channel, you guys can send a super chat or become a member. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook as well. Guys, new videos every week. Every Thursday I come out with a fishing video. And yeah, guys, thanks for joining me tonight. Thanks for all your support as always. And I'll catch you in the next video. See you later, guys.